What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV. Today we are rounding out secondary weapon week with a final commentary on the Akimbo or dual wield attachment in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. This attachment is only available on pistols, which are secondary weapons, in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. We're going to talk about the original attachment that came out way back, and we're going to talk about how that attachment has been declining throughout the years, my opinion on that, and then I've got a couple ideas for how they could improve this attachment as well. So without further ado, let's talk the Akimbo or dual wield attachment. I really should call it dual wield, as that's what it's called in this game, and if people have just started in this Call of Duty, they might not know what Akimbo even is. Basically, Akimbo was the original attachment. Like in Modern Warfare 2, I believe, was the very first time we saw an Akimbo attachment, and this weapon, or this attachment, was called Akimbo, not dual wield, and I don't know why it's called Akimbo. haven't really looked into it or anything, but that's just what it's called. So if I call it Akimbo throughout this video, that's why. So back in Modern Warfare 2, this was an extremely powerful attachment. Akimbo was just, or dual wield was just amazing. This was one of the best attachments in the entire game. You could put it on SMGs, you could put it on shotguns, you could put it on your machine pistols or your regular pistols. It was just incredibly powerful. I remember playing on, I'm trying to think of what it was called. I think it was like Wasteland or something. I'm not really sure what the map was called, but it was like a kind of like a desert landscape, and there was a huge like bunker right in the middle. There was 3 ways to get into the bunker, and you could just run in there, and it was just like a little tight quarters bunker, and it was just extremely awesome to run the MP5K. Put Akimbo rapid fire on there, get in there, and you were just spraying and hosing people down. Nobody could get into that bunker once I got in there with my Akimbo MP5K. It was just completely crazy. It was just one of the best attachments in CoD history when it was in that game. Then started taking a steady decline. We've got, you can't use it on SMGs anymore. You can't really use it on shotguns anymore. You can only use it on pistols, and which that still wasn't too bad. You could put it on with pistols. You could put suppressors on your pistols and run around and shoot people with your suppressed Akimbo weapons, and nobody could really know where you are. That was a really cool way to use your Akimbo weapons as well. Then we've got it that we're taking away the attachments now. That, oh, you can only use Akimbo, you can't use any other attachments now, which is kind of ridiculous. We're going to get into that in a second. But it's just been declining. You can't, obviously you can't aim down your sights when you're using the Akimbo attachment either. So ever since Modern Warfare 2, this entire Akimbo idea, this entire dual wield attachment idea has just been steadily declining. Nobody wants to do it apparently anymore, which is kind of sad because it's actually a really cool attachment. It's one of those goofy attachments that makes Call of Duty fun, that you're like, oh my god, I'm running around with 2 shotguns and I'm gonna when you're using the model 1887s way back when, and you'd shoot the shotguns and you'd flip them around in your hands like what's that movie? I think it's Night of the Living Dead or something like that. I can't remember what it's, or like the Rising Dead. I don't know. It was one of those movies where there's a guy like shooting at these zombies. He's got these 2 lever action shotguns and he shoots them. He's spinning them around in his hands, and it's like, fuck yeah, it's awesome. But you can't do that anymore. Now it's just like you got these pistols, and they suck at long ranges. They suck at medium ranges. They pretty well suck at close range too. You have to be at point blank range to use them. And for a while, they didn't come with a lot of extra ammo in some of the games. For some of the games, like, you can't put attachments on them, like apart from Akimbo, like Black Ops 3. It's just been getting worse and worse, and that's a huge problem. So how has it been getting worse exactly? Like, what are the things that's wrong with it in Call of Duty Black Ops 3? So in Black Ops 3, you cannot put any extra attachments on your Akimbo weapons. Bullshit. Are you kidding me? Like, just because I'm holding a second gun, I can't put things on those guns? What? Why? Why? What is the difference between holding 1 gun and holding 2 guns? If I can put a suppressor on 1 gun, I can sure as hell put a suppressor on 2 guns and run around with 2 suppressed guns. What the fuck is the problem here? Why can't I do that? Sure, you might say, oh, that might get too overpowered, but honestly, if we're being realistic here, I can put as many fucking attachments on my guns as I want. I could put red dot sights on those things for all I care and just never aim down the sights and just use them with red dot sights. Like, honestly, they're 2 pistols. Just because I'm using 2 of them instead of 1 of them should not hinder my ability to put attachments on my pistols. Really, if we're being real here, I should be able to put 2 completely different sets of attachments on each of my pistols. Say, have 1 pistol suppressed, 1 pistol with rapid fire or something, so when I run up and there's an enemy in my face, I can use the rapid fire one and spray him down. And then when I'm getting behind the enemy lines and I want to be stealthy, I can use the suppressed one to kill enemies without being seen. Like, that would be really cool. I just thought of that. I didn't even write that on my script. I just thought of that. That's a freaking really cool idea, that you can completely customize each pistol to its own sort of use, so that you can use one for one way, one for another way. That's what we need. We need attachments on our pistols. Just because I'm running Akimbo pistols should not mean that I don't get to put attachments on my pistols. Another big problem is how inaccurate the pistols are when you're hip firing them. Unless you're at like really close quarters, you're not going to be able to hit any enemies with these Akimbo pistols. I do believe it's either passed already or it's going to come up in this gameplay, where I'm standing in the top window of the building I'm in right now, and I'm trying to get a guy like across the map just to show you guys how crappy these things are at medium to long range. I'm like spraying all my shots. I might get like 1 hit marker on them. This is just a completely useless, all the pistols are just completely useless at killing enemies at longer range when hip firing. So it's just a big problem there as well. One of my ideas that I've been thinking about for quite some time for the Akimbo attachment, or the dual wield attachment, is aiming down sights with the dual wield attachment. Because yes, you do need to use the 2 triggers to fire your weapons, but really, you could aim down the sights of your Akimbo pistols. I mean, have you seen TV shows or movies or whatever, when somebody uses 2 pistols, they don't hold them out at their sides. They still point the pistols in front of them, giving them some sort of tighter aim. So really, if we held down the aim button, we should be able to lift the pistols up and look down sort of right in between them and kind of fire, or lift them up on a angle so that you can kind of look down both of the iron sights at the same time and sort of shoot them so that you have a little bit extra accuracy when you're firing. Even if there was sort of like a Fallout 3 style aiming down the sights, where you hold the aim down the sights and the pistols kind of move up closer and the hip fire cone actually tightens, but it doesn't go into a full iron sight aim, that would make sense as well. Because honestly, just because you're holding 2 pistols doesn't mean you can't aim with those 2 pistols. You can still lift those up closer to your eyeballs so that you can see what's going on. So it just makes sense to be able to aim down your sights. We could aim with L2 and fire with R2, and when we fire with R2, it fires a burst or a shot from both pistols at the same time. It would make firing your pistols a lot faster. It would make using the pistols themselves a lot easier. Plus, we'd get to aim down the sights and actually engage enemies at longer ranges than the end of our dick. So it's a pointless attachment now. I mean, yes, you can get good gameplays. Yes, you can run the right perks and do this the perfect way and try and outmaneuver your enemies to get your best gameplays, but realistically, the average player is not going to be able to use the Akimbo or dual wield attachment in Black Ops 3 to the best of their abilities, which is kind of sad, because dual wield and Akimbo used to be so good. Anybody could strap them on and just run with them, and it would be lots of fun. It was goofy fun. Like I said in a previous video during Secondary Weapon Week, which I'm sure I will link in the description or in the card in the top right corner, I mentioned that we're losing the goofiness of Call of Duty. Yes, we're getting into this futuristic stuff and this colorful stuff, and it's kind of goofy the way that you can customize your character to look like whatever. But the true goofiness, the goofiness of the gameplay, is what we're missing in Call of Duty nowadays. All the Call of Duty developers are cutting out things that made the game fun in its original state. Like Akimbo used to be one of the coolest attachments. It used to just be fun just to take 2 SMGs and run around and spray and pray and have a fun time. That used to be something that was really fun to do in this game. Now, when you're running Akimbo on your pistols and you just want to run around with your Akimbo pistols, odds are you're going to be more frustrated than you are having fun, because it's just really hard to use your Akimbo pistols or your dual wield pistols in Black Ops 3. If they came in and put on some extra attachments, like honestly, I'm using 2 weapons instead of 1. Give me some more attachments. If they let me aim down the sights, if they let me customize each different pistol to have its own attachments, then we're getting back into that goofiness, and we can have a lot more fun in this game. We can really customize these weapons and make them more just fun to play with, instead of just making them extremely serious, which is, it seems like that's what they're trying to do in Call of Duty recently. At first it used to be like, oh yeah, it was serious, and then they kind of got into some goofiness, and then they're trying to wane back into that serious cycle of Call of Duty, which isn't fun. I mean, it's an arcade shooter. The main word here is arcade. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be super serious unless you're playing in like the pros or something, which that's a topic for another day. But that's about it. That's all I have to say about the Akimbo attachment, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you agreed with anything you heard about the Akimbo attachment, or if you have any other ideas regarding the Akimbo attachment, hit the like button. Comment your ideas in the comment section down below. I want to know what you guys think about the Akimbo attachment. Do you still think it's overpowered? Do you think it's too weak? Do you think it needs one of these improvements that I've come up with? Do you have any improvements of your own that you'd like to let me know about? Put those in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Next week we've got something really cool coming out. I'm actually releasing a throwing axe or a combat axe montage, and that's going to be lots of fun, so I hope that one goes over well. That's about it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on Monday.
We don't reward failure. RTB for debrief and reassessment.
Mission failed.
That the best you got? Embarrassing.